Paul Everest from Unit Clothing. I'm the founder, creative director. The story of Unit starts in Papua New Guinea. It's a small island in the Pacific Ocean above Australia. My brother and I grew up there on a coffee plantation. And over the valley there was American missionaries translating the Bible who were into BMX and motocross. And so we just hung out with those kids, and from 3 o'clock in the afternoon till dark, we just rode BMX or dirt bikes every day. And just became obsessive with it, won a few national titles, and it was our life. A few years later we moved to Australia, and I didn't want to get a real job. I felt like I wanted to somehow combine my hobbies of art and motocross and BMX, and I thought I'll just start a brand. That could be the perfect idea. So I wanted to create a logo that represented the sport, not just the brand. I wanted to create just an icon that truly summed up the essence of two-wheel action sports. So I loved a star, the idea of a star being a great symbol, and I had a spark plug with me in art class, and I was looking at it from the side. It didn't make a lot of sense, but when I looked at it front on, from that angle, I realized maybe there's something I could do with that. So I basically fused the star and the electrode of a spark plug together and encapsulated the idea of a spark igniting fuel in an engine, which to me was really something special. And as soon as I designed it on screen, I was like, yes, this is it. And I was really, really pleased. I didn't have a name yet for the brand, and a couple of weeks later I was just lying in bed and I thought, Unit. And as soon as I said it in my mind, I knew that was the brand name. It doesn't necessarily mean anything. It's not a specific meaning around the word unit. Its dictionary meaning is a distinct entity within, and I just love that. It was a generic meaning. You kind of take your own meanings for what the brand stands for. And in 2002, my brother and I got together to create this brand, and it just started with a few t-shirts out of the back of our car, and all of our friends that were into motocross and BMX just loved our ideas. Like the designs we're coming up with weren't just brand reliant. They were based on the cool aspects of the sport, utilizing symbols and ideas that that involved the motocross and BMX. So we had a logo and a name, and we would just drive up and down the east coast of Australia selling t-shirts out of the boot of our car. And a lot of our friends who rode just instantly were connected with the brand. And the first 2 years are really difficult, just trying to get traction. But after a few years, it just seemed to connect with everyone. And we did some ad campaigns that were just really, people were just like, I can't believe what these guys are putting in their magazine ads. And that just got us attention. We had some ads banned by the Australian Advertising Bureau, which to me, if you're not getting things banned, you're not trying hard enough, and you're not challenging the status quo enough. So all of those things combined with some great athletes. We very early on discovered Robbie Madison. He rode for us for a few years while we could afford him. And we had some other great guys like Robbie Adelberg in the very, very early days. And since those very beginnings, we've picked up some amazing athletes today. Australia's been a real, hothouse for creating amazing talent on two wheels. So being an Australian brand has really allowed us to scout that talent and become involved with those guys, and to combine their talent with our brand that's sort of different and new and unique has just been a combination that's worked on a global scale. And we're in our office here today. We've just moved in. Our growth rate now globally is double what we projected, and we've started with very humble beginnings, and we've never felt like certain goals were impossible. We've always felt like the impossible was achievable. And right now, we're really pleased with how far the brand's come from just a garage setup with a warehouse that was a linen closet, and learning to screen print, learning to use a hairdryer to iron and heat treat t-shirts. So we started full backyard, and we didn't get any luck. We just worked and never took our eyes off the goal of being what we feel will be the best action sports brand of all time. Yeah, there's a real buzz you get when you see someone walk past you in the street with a design that you remember of just sketching on a little sketch pad 6 months earlier. And I particularly like art that makes you think. Just having logo t-shirts to me is easy. Like I like stuff that questions things or maybe offends some people. It just makes you stop in your tracks. So especially those designs, when you see someone walk past you in the street and you can see that that design's resonating with them. And I guess it's a bit like a lead singer in a concert when the crowd's singing back. It must be a similar sort of feeling. And yeah, people just, they dig what you're coming up with, and fortunately I get to have that happen quite a lot, especially when I travel overseas now. It's really good when you go to France or Sweden and you see people wearing your stuff. It really feels great, and it's one of the special things about having a brand. Yeah, I think Unit's developed a reputation for having amazing athletes and really talented riders who have just come from nowhere, and we've almost been a conduit to create those guys' careers and help their careers blossom. And because a lot of them are Aussie, it's just been great to watch someone who's been a no-name rider who's gotten involved with us. We've done a video with them and they've gone to the States or to Europe and just blown up. That's really special. I really enjoy that part of what we do. The other thing with Unit is we're not a purist brand in the sense of one sport over another. We love anything with two wheels and handlebars. So, mountain bike, BMX and motocross, freestyle motocross, to us it's all part of one thing. And that hasn't always seemed to be the case with a lot of other brands. They've sort of been specific to one or the other. So we're very open-minded around that. And we're fortunate to live in Australia, where a lot of the best talent has come from in the last few years. And is continuing to come from. You're going to see names like Cole Baldock, Josh Sheehan. These guys are coming out of Australia now that are going to be best in the world. Chad Reed, Robbie Madison. We've got some pretty amazing talent that's come from here. So that will continue to happen. There's skate parks going up all the time now here, and it's going to be an exciting next decade to see what happens. So Unit's been known for creating ad campaigns that really grab attention, and that's always been one of our goals, is to just when you're flicking through that magazine, you just stop and go, what the hell have they done now? What the hell is this company doing? And many times that's got us in a lot of trouble, and many times it's gotten us famous globally. So a great example is the Fruit Loop campaign. We just threw one of our models in a Fruit Loop bath, and that image was banned a few weeks later in Australia. So we were on TV, we had like a current affair, which is like the 60 Minutes of Australia, interviewing us saying, how could you do this? And it was just great to sort of throw some ideas out there that were just different to what people were expecting from an action sports brand. The other big one for us was during the swine flu propaganda time, when the media were just having a feeding frenzy on that whole thing. I quickly realised that was just a load of rubbish, and it was just such a great opportunity for me to get involved with that and think of some way of turning it into a bit of a campaign for us. So at our old building, we had a butcher next door, and I rung him one night and I said, when do you get your dead pigs in? And it just happened to be that the next morning he was getting 25 dead pigs to string up in his butcher and cut to pieces. So I rung his head supervisor, said, do you mind if I bring a couple of bikini girls in there tomorrow? We're going to do a bit of a photo shoot. He thought about it for a couple of minutes and decided it was probably going to be okay. And so we went in, just all organised in a couple of hours, shot these photos of these swine flu masks that I made myself. So I just got some masks and made a stencil and spray painted them, threw them on the model. There's blood everywhere, and it was freezing cold. I nearly broke all the camera equipment because it's about -5 in there. And it was just, we looked at the photos afterwards, like, this is going to get some attention. So we sent that photo all over the world, and it ended up in Times Square, it ended up in Brazil, it ended up in Sweden, and I mean the media company that helped us get it out there, we just couldn't believe it. And PacSun saw it and rung us up the next day, and we're like, this is great. We really want to know what this brand's all about. And the reason it worked was because it combined sex and fear in the one image. If you can get both those elements into a photo, you've got a great piece of artwork that can get attention. So that was a huge thing for us and got us global attention overnight. So doing the swine flu and the Fruit Loop ad campaigns, there was always an element of danger. Like, a lot of times I'll take an idea I've created and I'll take it to the CFO or to the other guys, and they're just like, no man, we can't do that. And as soon as I see that from my fellow staff, I know, all right, we're going to do this. Because if you don't get that reaction, you're not going to create waves, you're not going to create people that are either in love with it or people that hate it. Hate and love are not opposites, they're one of the same. Indifference is the opposite. So if you can create emotion around those two elements, people are just locked in whether they like it or don't. So yeah, we've still got plenty of things like that planned, and you know, I want to be a rock band of action sports. It's not about just putting your logo in a different color on a t-shirt and, you know, looking at your profit and loss statement. You know, let's create a little bit of you know, debate and ideas and get people talking and get people thinking. You know, I like conceptual art. I don't like just boring stuff. And you know, you combine all those ideas with action sports, this amazingly spectator-orientated sport, with what we've got in our art, and you know, herein lies what Unit is, and that's why we've come this far, I think. Our plans for the future is we've got probably goals that people will think are crazy, but that's how we've always done it. You know, when I first started in a garage, I said we're going to be bigger than Fox in Australia. People were like, whatever. And you know, we overtook Fox in sales here about 3 years ago and never looked back. And we just want to do that globally. You know, we want to be able to bring something new to the marketplace. Talking to a lot of people in the US and Europe, they're going, yeah, it's great to see this new brand with new ideas that's a little bit more, you know, edgier and a bit rawer around the side. So we feel like we've got something that we want to bring, and hopefully we don't get banned or barred from certain countries, which has almost happened. We want to go into lots of new product categories. You know, we've also got something that's coming out this year that I think will blow people away. You wouldn't expect an action sports brand to be doing what we're about to do. So I would love to just pour out all these ideas that are happening right now, but I can't, unfortunately. But just stay tuned, because yeah, even within the next 12 months, there's going to be some amazing things you'll see from Unit that will just go viral, global, overnight. And I want to change the sport. I don't want to just be a brand that just sits in the mix and takes its piece of the pie and that's it. I want to change the sport. We've done that with Giants of Dirt, with Dane Searles, rest in peace. You know, he changed the sport through his jumps, and we helped him do it. The world's biggest BMX jumps, backflipping 60-foot dirt to dirt. I mean, you know, that sort of stuff's only going to happen once, and I feel proud that we were involved with that project. Jed Milden, the crazy Kiwi kid, triple backflip, rung me up one morning. Paul, I'm going to do a triple backflip. And just the way he said it was like it had already been done in his mind, and I felt like, sweet, how much do you need to make this happen? And so in a few minutes we just sorted it all out, and 2 weeks later, triple backflip done. 8 million, 9 million views or whatever it was, and those are the things that excite Unit. You know, we love doing the things that change the sport, and I mean, who knows where a lot of these sports are going to go. Skate parks are full of BMX. You know, you used to see skate parks full of skaters. Right now, you don't see a skateboard, it's BMX, and you know, and those scooter kids, they're all moving to BMX, you know, so who knows where this is all going to go over the next few years. Yeah, so this year we're really stepping up our hardware and our luggage, amongst other things, to you know, just expand what we can offer people. Troy here is one of the best designers in the trade, and he's developed this as the presidential bag, and its little brother, the vice president, and he'll show a few little things on it. Yeah,
we're just going to step it up in some more fabrics to offer our customers. We're going to have some tree coat lining for our sunnies and valuables. We're going to keep a bit of a tonal pattern going over the fabrics, just to give the customer a bit of a pop for his bag there. You can see it on the run when he's getting off the plane. Hardware, we're going to step it up with some coloured wheels. We've got our heavy duty webbing. It's all jacquarded with our logoing.
The BMX team's been in New Zealand for Farm Jam the last 3 weeks, just fully thrash testing this stuff, and it actually came through 10 out of 10, so that's always good when you're the owner who's going to be responsible for it, so I was stoked to see it come through really well. And yeah, you know, we'll chuck stuff off the back of a ute just to see if it'll survive, you know, like we do all those things that'll have happen to it, and yeah, this stuff's going great. So
there's a presidential range. This is the vice president and this is the president. You'll be seeing more of these, and we're going to have another colourway of pop colours too for next season, so it's not just going to be black, we'll have a bit more to offer for everyone. So, but this is obviously for the team riders. Yeah, they love their black gear.
Yeah, they love it. So welcome to my office. This is where I spend most of my time designing ideas and creating art. I'd always wanted to build the best environment to create ideas, and this was basically what I come up with. So it's a scaffolding here that holds the screen up above me, and it's 30-inch Apple monitor. I got a sound system with subwoofer and the whole deal. Oxygen tank. People say to me, "Why the hell do you need oxygen?" And basically, oxygen, if you look into it, is a great fuel for the brain. You can really, push ideas further, and it just helps you come up with these different ideas that you might not have normally come up with. So get on to a bit of that, and I can sit in there all day long and be as comfortable as anything. So that's that. And over here, there's a picture of me back in Papua New Guinea as a kid, jumping over cars. That was about 1994 or something like that. And I wish I still had that bike. It's somewhere back up in Papua New Guinea. I'm going to go and try and find it. And so here's some other things. This is the helmet that Jed Milden jumped the triple backflip wearing. I just think every now and then when we do something that's world's first, we've always got to grab a piece of nostalgia. And it's funny, on the day he wrecked his bike that many times, he had to end up borrowing handlebars and wheels off just kids in the crowd. And so he had to give it all back, so he doesn't really know where his bike went. So it's almost the last thing left of his stunt. So that's that. Okay, so you might remember this bike from one of our ad campaigns. We actually dunked it in a swimming pool with one of our models on top of it. The bike was brand new, the house was brand new. It was actually my brother's house, and as we drove the bike into the pool, we actually busted one of his tiles, which he was stoked about. And a few days after the shoot, I took it out riding on a supercross track, and I noticed the grip was really slippery, so I pulled over and I pulled the grip off, and literally a whole litre of pool water just poured out of the handlebar. So I kind of, touched wood, I lived to tell the tale from that day. This bike, it worked. Days after the shoot, ready to go. We spent two hours underwater, and it was sweet, so lucky. Here on the Gold Coast, it's known as a bit of a party capital of Australia, so we wanted to have like a classic unit party, and we thought, let's get houseboats, let's get wake boats, let's get helicopters and make this thing really great, and take a photo shoot out there, and bring the athletes and the models together. And I thought, we got to have a stunt, we got to do something that gets us in trouble. So we picked up this $800 CR95 model, I think it is, from a kid down south, and had this big party out on the main waterway here in the Gold Coast. And as you can see, if you pan over to the side here, we had Matt Schubring, who's one of the local Aussie legends, barrel roll into the water. So it was a huge day, and you'll see that on TV and in various ad campaigns. So as a kid growing up, I could never afford the really top of shelf bikes. It was always, my family couldn't quite afford it. So now I'm older, I was able to afford getting some of these bikes that I could never get as a kid. And this is my Haro Freestyle. I've got a Hutch, a Mongoose, PK Ripper, Skyway. It's become a bit of an addiction, and to all the old school BMX guys out there, they know what I'm talking about. And it's just my little side hobby that I enjoy now, and still don't have any time to ride. You'd start a business, and your time to ride dwindles to about this much. So it's the closest I can get to it nowadays. So this is the unit warehouse. We have this habit of getting a new warehouse, thinking, it'll last 3 years or 5 years, and then within a year or within 2 years, it's already too small. So we've only been here for 3 months, and we already need another warehouse. So that's just been one of the, you can never quite project how much space or success you may have. But 10 years ago, this was all towel cupboard. So as much as it's frustrating sometimes having to find a building and organise rent and all those things, I still kind of go, well, at least it's not a towel cupboard anymore. At least we can fit a few more things in. So that's it. It was only about 5 years ago when me and my brother were having to design the product, get it into production, get it into a warehouse, and sell it, answer the phone, put it in a box and ship it out the front door. So today, it's great. We've got like forklifts and warehouses and safety procedures, and if you've ever been in business, like, it certainly feels amazing that certain jobs you had to do yourself all the time are now done by much more professional people who know what they're doing. And I always felt like when we got our first forklift, it was like one of the big milestones. Like if you've got a forklift, it means you have to move heavy shit. And so yeah, for me, it was like the first big milestone of owning a forklift. So yeah, now we've got about 2,000 or 3,000 square meters in here, which we, as I said, there's not enough room. You know, we got to move next door now. We're trying to convince the locals to let us have the next one across. So yeah, it's just a great story that we've endured and been excited the whole way through. So check it out.